So, guys, welcome back for another episode of the Deal Room. And today I am privileged to have Marcin on the show. He is the CEO and owner of BIAMI. We just had to clear that just before we started. And I have followed your journey for the past 2.5 years. You may not have even known that, but I've seen your company develop. I've followed your content. I've been engaged with a lot of your posts. You get a ton of engagement, but my interest is my business partner, Antoine, previous business partner. He met with you. We arranged a chat, and I was actually having arguments with my wife, so I passed it over to him. And after the call, he said, "This guy's a fucking genius. This guy has everything set up from A to B. HubSpot shit can go in here, here, here." And I said, "All right, I want to meet him." And then me and my business partner fell out. So for now, who are you? What do you do? And why do
And
you do
well,
it?
welcome everybody, and hey, thanks for having me on this podcast. And you know, look at positives. You know, we now have two conversations instead of one.
That's very true. It's very true.
So it's not bad. It's actually hey, we scale by hundred
There's
percent just like
opportunity.
that.
There's always opportunities in everything. Of course, there's an opportunity in everything. It's how you really position it. But again, without all of these situations taking its path and growing and compounding, I would have never got to a position where me and you actually sat at a round table together last week and my mind was blown. And now we finally found a time to actually get together and we'll meet in London, like we said. Um, but right now, I'm at the beginning of my journey with AI, and to meet somebody who actually knows how to use it and has experience in it is just um, it's incredible to say the least. So for those that don't know what Biami does and what your expertise is, how do you describe
Of
Marcin, CEO
course,
of
and
Biami
look,
today?
and yeah, happy to help. And look, yes, I am CEO at BIAMI.io, and what we really do is we do business process automation at scale. That's what our so we own our technology. We have also processes to do that. But then, if you think of automation, you could pretty much automate, any type of the process. And I think every business needs to have its focus as well. So we actually have this defined that we're going to focus on the three different areas of automations, and those are value proposition, operations, and growth. So think of it, we build processes where we can just really accelerate building of your value proposition. So if you're building any SaaS platforms, anything like that, we have actually ready templates to build sometimes just MVPs or full blown multi-tenant enterprise ready platforms, and you do it much faster at a third of the cost. Then we also do it for automation. Automation is what most people think of automation. So it's like it's automating your own business processes. So take a data from multiple systems, do something about it. Create reports or send messages and all of that. We do quite a lot of that. We have our automation labs where AI is drawing processes for you and then generates first part of automation code, which is pretty cool and quite innovative. We usually start
Wow.
with a conversation about scaling automation. That's also quite unique on the market because a lot of vendors today, they only focus on how to introduce the automation. So we very often actually say that we start where like all the other companies actually finish, because to us, like, automation without scaling, it's not really automation. And if scaling automation is the biggest pain of all the automation vendors on the market today, and more, they will not be able to resolve it because very often you need to have a different software architecture. So this is like a foundation of your software, which is very difficult to change, if not impossible. So just big monolith systems, think of it, just are not able to scale because they're too big. And Biami was built from the very beginning, from the day one, as a very lightweight, horizontally scalable technology. So that's what we do for the operations. And just to go back to what we do, the third one area of focus is growth. And growth, think of it as a business development, marketing, sales. We've actually initially for ourselves, we started to build like systems to make sure that we survive as the business, right? And we get the clients.
Yeah.
That was really the very beginning. But hey, it became quite successful, and we're kind of proud of it as well, because we have now what we call the 10x growth platforms with intelligent business development, intelligent marketing, and so on. Where actually, yes, you can automate up to 80% of a specific job role with automation and AI as well now, because last year was quite heavily in AI. We're development partners of like four major AI vendors, including OpenAI, Google, Meta, and Mistral, and we've done over 50 projects, for clients, and quite a few internal as well, where we were starting to build like automations with AI being part of those automations at scale. So hey, that's what we do.
Holy crap. So one thing that's just floating before we carry on, why the name BIAMI?
Yeah, that's a question that I always ask when I interview people. And yeah, and actually,
So
actually,
what
it's
is
an
it?
abbreviation for five things that you need to think about when you build automation or you want to introduce automation. Okay, so actually, BIAMI starts. B starts for
Okay.
build. I starts for
Okay.
integrate. A starts for automate.
Okay.
M stands
Okay.
for manage, and the other I
Okay.
stands for improve. So build, integrate,
Oh wow.
sorry, the build, integrate, automate, manage, improve are five elements that you need to think as a CEO or CIO or a business leader when you think about actually bringing an automation into your business.
Oh my God, you're absolutely right. So we're going to dive into this now because this is where the juice of the conversation begins. So I think the highlight for today, where we keep our focus, will stay in the realm of sales and marketing, and I would say growth. And then I think we'll need to have a couple of more episodes that kind of dive deeper into the automation process, the improvement process, any other variables that really you take care of when you are building or integrating this into a business. And the reason why I say that is because I was very, very privy to the problems of business and the goals and desires of a CEO. And the biggest desire every CEO has is I want all my information in one place. I hate going around to this platform, this platform, this platform, this platform. And then once you get to a place of when people, for those that are starting a company, you start a company with either yourself, your co-founder, and another mate, right? That was what my setup was. And we managed to get the business moving. Like I always looked at it like you have this enormous truck that like on the on it in NASA where they have those enormous trucks that carry the spaceships. And imagine when you're in a startup, it's you and your business partner, for example, you have to push so hard to just that wheel just to go like that. And then as soon as you push even more, it'll start moving. So what I mean is we got to a place where we hired, it was us three, then we hired outwards and got more people, got more results. But then it started to get very messy, right? And then you start to have data, which our system was Cognism, Sales Navigator, Lusher, Seamless. That would push into Close.io. Close.io would have smart views. The smart views wouldn't get actioned. When we would filter them, they wouldn't get actioned. Loads of these issues just kept presenting themselves. And then where it got to a point of now we're building an email funnel. We want the emails to respond, and those responses come in CRM. That part of people to connectivity was just a nightmare. So it's typically that tipping point that I believe if you can get that right and you can set the foundation of technology automations where your first layer of let's just say an ecosystem that connects is present, then from there you can say, all right, now I want to focus on this, I want to focus on this, I want to focus on this. So walk us through the ideal scenario, game plan, project plan from you've got two co-founders, you've just got your team to 5 people. You can either hire another 5 people or you can use technology to improve the existing 5. What does a company or CEO do if they were to work with you and do that,
Sure,
get that
and
done?
look, the issue that you're describing doesn't just apply for small businesses. Okay, the reality is that even if you go to mid-size or larger enterprise, they will have the same issues. They will have slightly different setup, but they do require the same elements and sometimes just a little bit more because they will also have just more data that they need to share across like different teams and so on.
Yeah.
But think of it from a process perspective.
Mhm.
It will in a lot of places will look very very similar. Okay, so hey, there's two approaches to that, right? A lot of companies do what you described exactly, like, hey, let's get those different systems, let's integrate them together, and you can follow up the BIAMI: build, integrate, automate, manage, improve. You can do
It's
that,
true.
absolutely. The problem is that when you do those implementations, you will end up with architecture of at least a dozen of different systems, CRMs, email automation, LinkedIn, whatever, etc.
Yeah.
Right, and there's going to be at least dozen of them.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's just going to be 20, 30, various different systems.
Yep. It's, you're
And
exactly
then you
right.
need
We
to
had
and then you need
12.
to integrate them together, and then you need to manage them, and then you manage the change in the future and all of that, which if you're launching your startup with 2 or 3 people, you're actually not able to do that because just building, integrating and managing it requires like at least one like super highly skilled person, if not two. Right, this is exactly the
Mm-hmm.
problem that we had at Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we started to build our sales automation platforms. Okay, we actually didn't have it on our roadmap at all. We just looked at it like, hey, how are we going to do biz dev, marketing, and sales for us? And then we had exactly that issue. Like, okay, so for us to make it correctly, like, okay, we need all these systems. Okay, this is great, but now it's a dozen of systems. Now there were like 4 of us. Okay, and did we say, okay, so what are we going to dedicate one person just to like build and run it? There's no way because this is like 25% of our resources. Okay, and even for the companies that
Yeah.
can afford it, sometimes we will have situation that they will have actually larger architectures, which means that there's more than one person, and that needs to run it. And yes, that then becomes the issue that you spend more money or too much money on even just like maintaining it all the time, and then implementing all the changes, future improvements, future versions of integrations, all of that. You need to always remember that. So instead of focusing on business, you suddenly like focus only like how to maintain technology, and that's wrong, right?
I'll tell you what, maintaining technology, I was very fortunate to have the vision and the creativity to say what I wanted in my head to my team. I had an operational genius, I would say, who was one of my business partners, and he was able to. He was a big gamer, and he was fucking incredible at
Yeah,
putting process together. That was a big strength. But then we had the sales arm, and that was Antoine. He was the sales arm, and he grew our company 450% in 1 year. And where delivery then took place, and then you've got to allocate resources on delivery and using and testing, and that was just insane. And for me, like having someone like yourself on the show is to showcase that business complexities are very present. They will come. If you plan to grow, you need to be prepared, and having someone like yourself is the answer, because you can't learn that stuff when you're in your business and then you say, oh, let me start building technology. You can literally cut out 3 years of growth
yeah,
because you're trying to
yeah, that's
learn.
right. And look, things are becoming very dynamic at the moment, so it's not just to build, but later on when you do sales and business development, marketing, like every 6 months you will need to redesign what you're doing, because you want to be ahead of everybody. So if you're going to be using a approach that you built like 8 or 9 months ago, it might not work today, and then you will say, oh, I built a system, but actually it doesn't deliver the results. So you need to have then systems that
Wow.
you will be able to like adjust, configure, and all of that, to make sure that you always stay ahead of competition. And I think this is like super important. This is the main problem why people struggle with business development today, because they saw something. Last year was all about LinkedIn, right? Now everybody jumped on LinkedIn, and everybody's getting all these messages, etc. And I get hundreds of them every day,
I
and
I
and
hate
it
it.
doesn't work.
It's
Okay,
I'm so
because
rubbish.
it was great in 2023. It was great, believe me. Like we had great weeks and
Mhm.
all of that, but now you need to be one step ahead. Okay, so yeah, that ability to build, but then also like change actually is very important. So look, our approach to that is, initially we started to use our own technology to build like automated processes. But then we actually, once we've
Mhm.
built it, we actually so that for us to scale it, like we probably need to turn it into a platform. And we were also kind of fortunate that a couple of our like initial clients for this platform, our friends, just saw the results that we were getting, and they said, hey, if you make it a platform, we're happy to pay for it. And that's exactly what we did. Right.
So, all right. So question on that. So, my impression right now of BIAMI is you guys are an expert team that can help implement automation, workflows, and AI into your business. But from what I hear now, there is a software that
That's
people
right.
can
We
use
have we
too.
have we call it 10x platform. You can go to 10x.biami.io. You can sign up for it.
Can you show us? We've got screen share. Can you show
I
us?
can show you, but then because it's a public, okay, we have GDPR
Okay.
compliance and all of that. And if I
Ah, so you can't see all the, so you
correct,
have contact records.
correct,
Okay, fine.
because I
So
don't I don't have a
somebody
system
needs
just with
to
dummy
start.
data.
Yeah.
Look, we
Okay, okay,
like
okay.
to like show the real stuff and real conversions and and
So, all right. So, if somebody, so just what fast track somebody's buyer journey, how much does it
yeah,
cost
two hundred
to
and
pay for
fifty
that
dollars
platform?
per month, right?
And for
So
two
so
hundred
so,
fifty
so
dollars,
they
what do they
get
get?
a business development or marketing platform, with all the channels, with everything they
With
need to
all the
kind of do the outreach or generate inbound leads. That's what we have, as a part of growth. Or they get also 250 costs RevOps Lab. So think of it, if you don't want to use those platforms but build actually completely custom automations, you can get the RevOps Lab, and it's also 250 per month.
Oh my god! So it's so for those that so it's
What? No,
Biami.io or
Biami.io is for the
Biami.ai?
company. Now for that platform is 10x.biami.io.
10x.biami.
I
Are we
think
able to
I
show
think
it on here
so.
from my side? All right, let me have a look. Let's have a
You can
quick
go and you
look.
can you've got a credit card with you. You can sign up.
I think I will. I think I will. Sign up for free. So let's show let's again, this look, if I knew this 2 years ago, I spent Martin so much money on technology, on implementing technology. I paid one marketeer 8,000. It was 2,000, 1,000, 4,000, 1,000. And oh my god, look at that. Instant login, dashboard 10x growth. You got a community, business development. Holy shit, I'm gonna have a field day with this. This is beautiful. So whoever is interested in doing this, all right, I'm gonna have to have a play around with that. So you've got a new customer
Great,
from me today.
great. Well,
Closed. How good is that for marketing? But this is the thing, right? It's the ability to increase the amount of productivity with the time you have. And having an expert who knows what they're doing and a process that works, this is what people, I think, they fail to realize, that yes, you can learn and do it yourself, but why waste that time? Why waste your time? Just hire an expert, and if you don't have money, then you're not ready to be in business,
You're absolutely
right?
right, and
Or
especially when you start the journey, like you said, if
yeah,
you're a senior person, I always say, as a founder or founding member, think of it that your day of work should be worth like at least, I don't know, like $2,500 per day. Okay. And you need to think that
yep,
way. What are you going to spend your time on? Right? Are you going to actually go and like waste the time, and you're going to like learn stuff that others know already, or actually you're going to like work with somebody who knows it, and look, within 3 months, okay, you can get to results that it would probably take you like 12 months to get into by yourself, if you're lucky.
Jesus Christ, you're absolutely right. So what and why got you into technology? At what age did you discover this passion? Was it as a young 8, 9, 10 year old? Was it a teenager or in your 20s? At what point did you discover technology and said, "Wow, this is
Yeah, when I
this is
was
where
10
I want to
years
be"?
old, like the first computers were made, okay. So
Okay, I'm
so that
86,
was like
so I think we're
Atari,
probably around the same.
ZX Spectrum, Time,
Yeah,
all of that. What?
Doom. Do you remember Doom? Do you
Yes, of
remember the
course.
game
Yes.
Doom?
Yeah. So when I went study, that was our best game, right? It was like everybody had it, but that was already on PC. So I even remember the pre-PC era. But look, the reality is, yeah. Since I started, uni, I started IT and management, and then I kind of ran a bit of consultancy, and then for like last 20 years I have worked for various different technology businesses. So I was always close to technology, and at a very early stage, when I started my life, actually I started in the two streams. One was SAP, so business process, ERP systems and all of that. And then it was beginning of Linux, which also had a big impact on me, because that's like was beginning of an open source movement, right? And I'm kind of
Hmm.
very much into both, because BIAMI is a software, is open source as well. You can actually go on a different website, which is biami.dev, which is for techies. You can go download the software. You can try to like do it yourself, we call it, and and do all of that with our free open source software. So that's great, and we're kind of proud of it as well.
Wow, that is insane. All right, so IT management, you're in school, you moved on, you started to work with tech companies. What year did you discover using AI to enhance your operations or
So
amplify your
it
operations?
before AI, and before the AI that we have today, okay, I really started to see opportunity when the cloud starting to be built. So think of it, at the beginning of the cloud was very innovative.
What year was cloud? What year did
That
cloud
was
fully
around
emerge? Do you think? Did it really take?
probably 9 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Okay.
but there was something
Mhm.
specific about the cloud. Before clouds, everyone was building big systems, like a monoliths, we call them. So big systems, on a running on a big servers and all of that. With cloud, we also got a new way of architecting IT systems. So you can actually, you can build like horizontally scalable systems, very well. And to be honest, this
Yeah.
is the opportunity that I
Hmm.
saw quite early. And to me, because I was thinking initially of automation, I said, if you're going to start building automation in that way with such architecture, that's something like very, very innovative. And that's why we started to build Biami. And then when you talk about AI, before like generative AI, AI was all about machine learning, maybe advanced data analytics, what we call.
Yeah.
Again, because we were able to do it at scale. Okay, we were able to like process, like 100 times of more information at the same time as others, because we were using a scalable architecture. Okay, that actually took us to to different results, and actually help us like accelerate that AI journey. Because yes, we did quite, we do, and we still do quite a lot of like data processing at scale and all of that. That's the beginning. And we even build our own fine-tuned models, with AI. So again, think of it, this is like, you take a lot of your own custom processes and you like fit it to the model at scale first, and kind of you build it, and then start using it. So yes, we did all of that for look, we kicked off building BIAMI around 7-8 years ago. So it's been really, really, um,
So 24, so 2016, is that when Miami started?
2016,
2016?
around that time. Yeah, I think we started to build it. So I started to build it on the side initially, right? So
As every founder
exactly. So
does.
so hey, I was fortunate to work with some smart people in the past, and we like get together one day, in a pub, and we said, hey, why don't we like think about doing something? And first for fun, okay? And we kind of started to build that, and then
That's
we
so
said,
cool.
actually, if we build something for fun, let's make sure that it will have a future as well. And that's how we kind of started to build the first versions of BIAMI, right? So now it was.
Mate, that's a story. That's an incredible story. So just one thing while we're on that topic, and then I want you to finish that. For those that are ex, getting a bit of excitement behind them to say, that is like so many people are going to the pub and doing nothing. Like go to the pub and make something, create something like you've just done. How would you describe the journey the
Look,
past 10
when we
years?
went to the pub, I went with my like best solution architects I worked with, and like technical people. I was the only one that wasn't technical. Okay, I was like, I was the only one that wasn't. So when you go with
Wow.
them, they always talk technology. They always talk.
Yep, yep, yep,
They always
yep.
talk like that. So I mean, it's great. And it was really, really beginning of very exciting times, that people were able to build new things that didn't exist before, because cloud was new. Okay, so everybody wanted to be really
Yeah,
involved in
yeah.
that. And I think that was also, that timing was very important as well, because if we wouldn't have that, I think we wouldn't think of that use case. So for the automation, so that was super important. And then look, it took us initially, it took us really 3-4 years, okay, to get it built from the ground to a level where we actually start to see the first like a commercial models that we said, okay, that could work. Because think of it, at the very beginning, automation at scale on a cloud native architecture, actually it was so new that we had all the telcos coming to us. Okay, all the biggest telcos you can imagine. We were probably in initial conversation, we have half of the telcos in the world. Okay, but they were coming to learn from us, like, what is the future going to be? And their investment was very little. Okay, so it took us a bit of time to actually understand like what we need to do. Look, we had analysts coming to us. Okay, that was funny story, and great story. We had analysts coming to us, interviewing us. I'm sorry, but I will say it. Didn't really understanding what we were doing at that time, because it didn't fit the existing
Yeah,
model. It didn't fit. So
of
they said,
course.
look, we
Anything.
have these categories, this, and that. Which categories are you in? And we said, none, right? None. And
Oh wow.
and I remember my first interview with analysts, and they they gave us like really actually not positive, review. Okay, it was like, again, like 2018 or something like that, right? It's just because, hey, we
Yeah.
didn't fit in that category that didn't exist yet, right? So it was, it was pretty interesting. Hey, we've got much better conversation now, and I think that's good. That's good. But yeah, that was a journey. It took us, 3-4 years initially to like get it to a level where we actually then said, okay, actually let's commit to that business. Let's establish the business. Fully bootstrapped. Hey, big
Mhm.
success. November last year. Okay, we got to a contract number 100. Okay, and
Wow, congratulations,
that's
mate.
thank
That's
you. That's like
incredible.
3.5 years, I think, like being in it.
So let's jump on that then. So 100 customers is a huge milestone, and that's actually the next question I wanted to ask. What would you say was the biggest achievement, and at what year from starting? So 2016, let's just say you guys said, yeah, let's go for it. Couple years in, it's starting to show some traction, and then you hit a point where, so for us, our biggest milestone was we brought on an old colleague that we worked with, and he was big into our networking events category. And he signed. I was in Morocco, and they were home, and we were in a struggling point in the business. And this guy brought in an $111,000 check,
Yeah. So look,
and
with
I,
us, it was slightly different because we were building it on the side initially. Okay, and we initially we had a lot of projects with like almost non-revenue or just the revenue to cover the cost, but we knew that we just needed to like just build a little bit more, but and cover the cost of the build, right, for our
Mhm.
technology. And then think of it, it wasn't really like one moment that we would say, okay, now it kind of took off like a hockey stick. I think it's going to happen still. But
All right.
but one interesting time we had was definitely COVID. Okay, COVID, COVID,
Coffee.
COVID. Yeah,
Oh, COVID. All right.
COVID
Okay.
19, which
Okay.
happened in 2020, was good from a perspective that a lot of companies were not ready to start working from home. And this is when
You're right
everybody
about
started to
that.
come and say, okay, so I have this my team now working from home, but I don't know if they really do anything. And okay, because like, hey, even in a growth, right? If you
I was the same.
if
I
you
was
give
the
them
same.
20 different tools, like you're not going to run reports on every and each tool all the time for each team member, because it's just impossible. So the managers didn't know. The managers
Hmm.
didn't know. And they came in, and then we said, okay, great. So here is an integrated platform with like your daily, weekly, and quarterly report that will show you like what all the people are doing across all the channels you're having and all of that, right? Do you want it? Yes, no. And and yes, that was for us, that was opportunity. And we saw during the from the almost first lockdowns, we saw like really a big spike of inquiries coming to us. I think that was interesting.
So, question on that. So, when you say you got a big spike of it in inquiries, in those 4 years of building, I'm seeing that you were building an operation that allowed companies to streamline their processes through no code and better business process management. Now, following that period, your let's just call it 2020, same thing for me. My company was, so fortunately I had sold demand generation webinars for 3 years. So my like mindset and environment was already digital. And once it came to 2020, it was 2019, and I was working at my company. 2020. It was April of 2020. I was working at my company, and they had a big change in management, and they said they were going to be able to help us go to scale to 10 million. It was a load of bullshit, and I asked them what the hell is happening. They had no answer, and I said that's when I'm going to start my business. And my business, as you know, was appointment setting, and it was because I was able to get people on the phone very quickly, no matter what channel I had. At that point, it was just a phone and sales nav and a headquarter number. And we were able to print money. Me and my business partner were able to print money because of the way we positioned it. And Then when we started to hire people, it was all right. I'm paying these people. The result. This is where it happens. When you pay somebody for a result, the result doesn't happen, and then you start to look at all right. Well, where's the dials? Then where's the conversation? Where's the emails? Where's the KPIs? And then once you've looked at that into enough detail, then you want to know,
Yeah,
are they working? If those things are there, are they even working? And that's where, had I known you, I would have done it. But we started to
yeah,
look at tracking software,
yeah,
check-in software, punching in, punching out, and
yeah,
like everything. And that was the hardest thing. And then now there's a period where people are saying there's companies demanding people to come back to work, but productivity is dropping from making that request. It's like 2 to 3 days is the happy medium. So where I was in that place, I wanted you to shine a light on that just a little bit more. What was the biggest issue then that you saw with companies not knowing if their team was on site, and what was the solution that
yeah,
allowed them to
yeah.
see
Of
if they
course.
were
So
working?
look, that's what I think said initially. The managers were calling and say, "Hey, I have these people. I don't know what they're doing." So when we build both growth platforms or automations, okay, we always keep records of all the activities that are happening across different channels and all of that, etc. And then, of course, we always provide like a dashboards, aggregated dashboards, and reports because you need to have a data-driven business these days, right?
Love the word. What a sexy word. A data-driven
But
business.
that's true. That's true. And you don't want to have, you don't want to go Salesforce, log into Salesforce and get part of the data, go to Marketo and get a different part of the data, and go to different systems and get a different part of the data because, very often then you will get actually different definitions for different types of data, and you think it's the same data, but it's not. And you cannot make decisions based on that.
Yep.
You need to have a platform where you can like
Nope.
get all these different data streams, etc., aggregated to make sure that you actually are running the dashboards with the information that you want. And it just shouldn't take you like
Mhm.
too long to build and all of that. And yes, this is really what we saw, because we said from the very beginning, like, look, okay, nobody is ready, and everybody was taking care of like delivering laptops to home, make sure that everybody's got a broadband, etc. I've been in technology for like over 20 years. I'm always talking to people from all over the world. To me, that was like just normal. So I was actually happy that people started to accept that way of communication and having meetings during the COVID and all of that. And then we said, look, first thing is you need to not just have activities, but you need to measure these activities. You need to measure the conversions, because this is where you are today, this is where you want to be, let's say in 6 months time. Okay, it's going to be a journey, but you need to track all the KPIs that you need. If you don't track, like you yeah,
It doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything. You're just, again, and that's one thing that gave us structure in our business. The second you have to say, did this happen? What is the number on this? You've got a data issue. You've
yeah,
got a lack of visibility issue. So it came to a point where we use Gino Wickman's entrepreneurial operating system. Initially, we had Salesforce. It was way too expensive when we started to scale, so got rid of that. Then we went into Pipedrive. Pipedrive didn't work. Then we went into Close.io. That was okay. And then we went to Monday.com.
yeah.
And then we went to Google Sheets. And then we went back to Close. And like, mate, the amount of CRMs that we've gone through to get overall visibility, calling, email in one place. Again, that's what you're trying to pay for. But then some people don't realize every system that is designed for its area of expertise is designed just for that. And that's where you have a BIAMI to come in and kind of piece it all together. So, what does a central source of truth look like for a CEO at a startup doing 1 million in annual recurring revenue? He's got 20 people on the force, 5 reps, 2 people in marketing, a couple of leaders, operational, customer success. What should that central source of truth
I
look
so
like?
so so I say, for that stage of the company, there are three areas you need to look at, and it's not going to be just one. Sorry, it's going to be three. But it is, but it
Okay,
is,
fine.
what is your value proposition? Because you need to have an offering
Okay.
that is interesting on the market. Okay, if you don't have that, this
Hmm.
is like the really area of a focus number one, because you don't want to sell with everybody else. You need to have something unique, something better than everybody else, and all of that. So you need to know your competitive advantage from your value perspective. Okay, then you need to
Okay.
look how well or are you organized internally, and this is what you do through like streamlining your operations, because uh, bottlenecks in operations is a serious problem. It's like it's taking time from everybody, and really people start
Yep.
focusing on the wrong things, and that's like very important for the CEO to make sure that people work on the right stuff, but as well as are able to actually identify when they start to working on the wrong stuff, and go and ask for help, or solve that issue, right? And look, if you have good things to
You're
good
absolutely
value
right.
proposition, if you have good stuff to sell, and you have good operations, then you will get the growth, the third one. And growth is what we call basically revenue related activities, right? But a lot of people focus on the growth initially, okay, and it's great. But if you don't have a good value proposition, you might have a great processes here, but but you might struggle, right? As well as if you don't have a good operations, that means the clients will not stay with you for long. Okay, you you will not make
Hmm.
a lot
That
of
makes
people happy for quite a long period of time, which at this stage of the company, like churn is super important. And when you build your business, you need to think of what is the great stuff that you sell, how to keep the things an engine on, and things keep running, and then how you acquire new business as well. So those are three things.
Tell me how hard this dashboard would be to make then. So my holy grail of dashboard would be revenue, as in cash in the bank, pipeline value in terms of money, then it would be contracts, meetings, actually meetings booked and sat or whatever, conversations, dials, emails, social interactions. And where I've not pushed my thinking yet, but I'd love to know if it's possible, is Instagram overall stat, Facebook overall stat, LinkedIn overall stat, TikTok overall stat, Twitter overall stat, Reddit overall stat, or a specific stat within those. How hard would that dashboard be to create? And what would it be custom, or would you be using some sort of make.com or Zapier or some sort of
Yeah, look,
dashboard
look.
interface to make it?
If first thing is, you should not think of having just the generic dashboards, because generic dashboards don't work. You need to build dashboards for your business. Okay, this is super important. Yes, you build dashboards from the top to the bottom, and like you say, you can say
Yeah,
it's going to be your revenue, and then in the revenue you will have different types of revenue, because okay,
exactly. Then you
and then
click
you
it
build
and
a
you can go
funnel.
in and
Yes,
expand.
and you build a
And
funnel for
expand,
all
yeah.
of that. But then you also need to make sure that to build that funnel and being able to execute and build that funnel, you need to have operations to do it, and and also you need to have a good value proposition that will actually pick up. You know, so it needs to be like interesting for others, right? To pick up and have a conversation about. So look, the easiest way, and this is like we still like internally we use ClickUp, for example. Okay,
Yeah, I've heard
yeah, we
about
use
that. I've heard
ClickUp.
good things about that. Also, full funnel, high, what's it called? It was called high sales something. High up sales or something, I think it's called. Which one is
No, I
that? Have
don't
you heard,
know.
you know what
No,
I'm
no,
talking
no,
about?
no.
So ClickUp is an all-in-one marketing platform. Am I
Um,
right?
I think no, ClickUp is more. Think of it as like Monday.com, so more project management. But yeah, it
Okay,
just
okay.
has a little bit. I think just more stuff in it, and you can like customize the type of information you want to see. and it's got also like these goals,
It's called
etc.
Go High Level. All right, so that one makes sense. I think the because I looked at ClickUp, and then the competitor for ClickUp is called High Level, Go High Level. It's another CRM that's on the market that looks quite interesting. But I think, what is the benefit of ClickUp to an organization in
Well,
their
we for
infancy?
example do it that within one day as a CEO you can create actually structure of your dashboards, okay, and then it's quite easy to update those dashboards and build integrations, okay, to have all those other systems that you have because it's not a CRM. You will have a CRM, okay, and for example, every time you close new deal, you want to like kick off the integration from your CRM to your dashboards to like to do it right. So but then you have it like integrated from all the systems where you track the revenue, you track like operations, and how long does it take, how many resources you need, and all of that. And then on a value, if you are, I don't know, software company, if you're building something or you provide some services, etc., you can also actually track like how is it going there, how aligned are you with like with your revenue goals and all of that. It's
It's
I think
very
it's not just
interesting to
CRM.
hear
I think it's not
how.
you need more than CRM. Yeah.
Oh no, of course, and I think that's where, again, that's where my inexperience in this. So again, I'm very high level focused on sales, marketing, capturing attention, driving leads, driving revenue. Where the technology element came in, I believe truly, if I had a CTO, that I would, my next business, I would partner with a CTO or a very technology focused individual. And the ideas, if he could create the ideas that I had and the infrastructures I had in my mind, oh my god, I think it'd be just incredible. That's one thing I'm missing, and I think more people should take advantage of. If you are building a business, focus on investing into
and
a
and
technology
if
business,
you're building the
an
business,
IT
or even
professional.
if you're in established business, because again, it's always a journey. And I had yesterday
Yeah.
conversation with my friend from very well established business. I think I can even mention a name. It's a MicroStrategy, right? Like everybody knows MicroStrategy.
Okay.
It's like a leader in kind of a BI analytics space, but it's a 30
Mm.
years old business. Okay, and they're just constantly over the years struggle with re-innovating themselves, right? And that just shows that even very well established businesses have the same issues as startups. Actually, within the startups, it's easier to build new stuff because you assemble new team, you get everybody, you start with the like white piece of paper, blank piece of paper, and you draw, right? you know
Yep.
in established businesses you like
Exactly.
take whatever
Exactly.
exists already and you need to like implement those changes, but the challenges are exactly the same. Look, if you want, if let's say you're building new system for like 10x your outbound, okay, don't think that established
Hmm.
business doesn't want to do the same. They want to do exactly the same. It's just the issue is exactly the same. So no.
It's how many. It's usually, in my opinion, I would say it's how much other priorities are in the way of them implementing the outbound strategy, and that's where a lot of junior, younger sellers fail or drop the ball. They think because they have one product that is just theirs to sell, and they have one thing to do, which is get their target hit. They don't understand, or I don't think they're able to learn through the pressures, that businesses have a list of things they have to do on any given day. And throughout the year, there's a huge list, and they check them off, and they check them off and get things done. And it never ends. It's always a constant battle of just ticking things off. And without understanding that, hey, where does my pain sit in your business, and where does my solution fit in with that pain, and is there things ahead of that pain, how can I push my pain ahead? That's like the difference in
No, no,
using those
I
kind of things.
agree,
What do you
but I
think about
also
that?
say that look, if you look specifically for like this SDRs example that you gave, is look, you know, people
Mm.
hire quite junior people for managers hire quite junior people for that role, right? But then those people have
which is
manager.
wrong.
So if a person is unsuccessful, it's not their failure, it's a failure of their manager. Okay. And he made decision
Exactly.
not just to
Yeah.
hire because he gave opportunity, but then probably didn't have enough time to do all the coaching, training, support that person, right? So again, you could say, if that person would be like, if they would hire somebody more experienced, maybe that person wouldn't just wait and it would go to a manager and say, look, I really need help. But just less experienced people don't have that experience, and they just don't know how to do it. But I'm very sorry for a lot of like young people that are not getting hitting their numbers. But I always say, like, it's it's probably only 50% is your fault, right? If
It's honestly, I think it's quite a big problem. I do see it as quite a big problem. I feel bad for them. I don't say this in a malicious way, but I've taken jobs from them because we were the agency that was able to outperform their internal teams. And the reason I am able to use my messaging to outperform internal teams is because, let's keep it real, as much as I'm 37, I have 20 years of experience in business myself. So when I tell my team what message to go into the CEO's office with, the CFO's office with, the CMO, the CTO, whoever, the partnerships team, there's a very specific message that they go in versus the other team. Hey, I've got this product and it does this, and I want to get a meeting
that's
with
right.
you. No, that's not
That's
how it works.
experience. That's experience, right? So uh, again, you're able to do it because you've been there, etc. You cannot blame junior staff for like not being to do it. It's again, it's just they don't get enough support. And
They
yes.
don't get the right training. Or, and again, on that piece, I think that's a whole nother episode. But on that piece, give me 1 second. On that piece with managers having unrealistic expectations, that is where another major issue is. The managers have unrealistic expectations. So you've got the CEO who's focused on very high level issues. He's neglected the fact that there's a relationship that he needs to build with these people. He gives them to a manager. The manager says, I've got this number. You need to hit it because my boss said it. They don't take ownership, and they fail then to teach the teams that, hey, look, it's more than just you hitting your number. You are helping people, and you need to show that you're trying to help people, because otherwise, again, I'm I, I'm so disgusted with how poor this profession has become in terms of lack of skill, lack of experience, and not knowing how to approach people. The amount of shit messages, I'm sure you get them too. How many messages you get just like, shut the fuck up. I don't need software development right now. I don't even fucking have a team. You keep asking, and it's like every day you keep asking me about fucking software development. I don't need it. Then some person says, hey, do you need a recruitment team? No, I have fucking two people. Then another one, hey, what the hell was it? Oh my god, they said, oh, uh, I help executives change their body. I'm like, listen, mate, I'm fat right now. Just leave me the fuck alone. Let me be. It's unbelievable, bro. But one thing, because I think we're gonna come to the top of the hour, and again, we're gonna have to book more. But what do you see? Next time we want to go into how you're actually using AI within your business, in the details and the grains. What do you see as current trends? But what are your predictions for 2024 and the use of AI in
Look, I
2024?
think 2023 was a lot about experimenting with AI. I think 2024 will be about
Yep.
productorizing it. So absolutely, I think a lot of people will still learn. Okay, but I think it's not going to be just AI. AI is just additional tool. So think of it as you're going to have. Sorry about if you can hear the noise, but uh, AI is just another tool. So you need to have a process, okay, and AI needs to be part of your process. And then you will apply different AIs or different types of AIs for a different type of informations in the different stage of the process. So it's not going to be just one AI. It's going to be there's going to be multiple AIs. But look, I think both on analytics and generative AI. I think by the end of this year, I think you will see systems that at least IT systems that will be somehow autonomous. In a way that they will be able to cover some processes like on its own, maybe not 100%, but quite a
Mhm.
lot. And I think I think that's what you're going to see. That think of it. I think I gave you that one idea. In the future, not this year, but in the future, everybody will have their own, like, some sort of a personal assistance, right? And it's going to be like AI making a phone call on your behalf, and on the other side, another AI will pick up as a customer service, and they will be having their own conversations. You will not even know about it. It's not
That's
this year,
very
but I wouldn't be
that's
surprised if,
insane.
if, if, if some proof of concept will be kicked off this year, because I think if this is few technologies, and we are very close to actually to be able to have that type of systems. So no, it's
Well, I think you're right, mate. I think you're right in terms of robots being able to speak to robots, or AI speaking to AI. That is definitely possible. In 1 week, the company I'm partnered with, Mega, they're going to have their first live conversations through multiple experiments that have already taken place. But then they'll have the live conversations that are able to go to market. That's going to be one. The one question that we ask is, um, what companies or company do you believe people should be on the lookout for? Rising in AI, fast growing, not open AI, not Bard. Who would you say keep an eye on for this year?
look. I don't want to throw out names, because I would say it's not about the name; it's about the culture, and depends on what you're looking for. Okay, because some companies will be looking to join smaller startups where those startups will have a big ambitions, use a lot of AI, where you can actually go join and, like, really build or learn a lot of, like, great stuff, and actually make a real change. Okay, sometimes you're going to go to at the businesses where you know you might think, okay, you're joining just well established business and becoming a number. But if you have opportunity to like build maybe an innovative part of that organization, I think this is like very, very attractive space for a lot of people. Because look, if you could go and create and lead then like a part of the business where you build AI for that established business, I think that's going to be very, very interesting.
Mhm.
Because established businesses have all that domain knowledge, industry knowledge, right? And they give you a lot of data to actually work on, and that's like very, very important. So yes, I think, look, don't look maybe for, for some might work, but if it would be me, I wouldn't be looking for a companies that you know that got sold.
Say
Right.
one. You have to say one. You have to say one
Sorry, say
company.
again.
Who are you going to say? You have to say one company. Drop a company name in AI that to
I'm
look
sorry.
out
If you
for.
want to drop me one name, then I will say that Google will win the game long term.
Perfect. So I will ask you. The company I've got my eye on
Yeah,
is called
yeah,
Perplexity.
yeah. Of course, of course.
Have you
Yes.
heard of them? All right. So for those who haven't, tell me about
Look, I
Perplexity
think
from
I
your
think it's
angle.
an interesting business model. I think it's at the very beginning of the journey of the AI. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
I think with AI, especially those larger companies that have larger goals, you will see a lot of battle on the market for talent, and who's going to win that talent. Because um, like
What kind of talent?
technical people that are
Engineering
actually
talent?
are able to build these AI systems. Okay, because once look, we have now people talk about AI as generative AI as a just text generation. It's going to get much, much more than that. think of it, all the media, all the channels, everything. You will need people that will be able to build quite complex systems. And the reality is, you cannot like find this type of people everywhere. There's quite numbered pool of resources for that.
Mate, that's a solid, 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 power packed episode. Where do people find you until we have our next showcase together? Where can people find out more about you? And we'll have all the links to biami.dev, Biami, the growth system, your actual company.io. But where can people find you?
The
What's the
easiest
most
way is
common
go
place
to
around for you?
LinkedIn. Okay, find me on LinkedIn. And that's where I'm every day. And or send me an email. Look, I'm a very approachable person. I'm not hiding anywhere. It's kind of easy to do. And yeah, and go on the website or send me an email, or yeah, send me a message on LinkedIn. And if it's interesting, then and we've like we can pick up the conversation. Then we definitely will.
Beautiful. Well, if you liked this, like, share, and subscribe. Share this with your mates. If they're bums, fucking help them out and let them learn something from some talented people here. But it was a pleasure as always. Until next time, stay on. I'm just going to let it upload. I'll push stop. And we'll
Well,
see
thank
you
you, and
again,
yeah, looking
Marcin.
forward
Thank
to the
you.
next one.
All right. So